Welcome to In Conversation with MANWAR podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Do Not Be a Bystander campaign. You can join us in raising awareness about bullying by visiting donotbeabystander.com, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay informed about upcoming episodes. The participants of today's podcast are Arifa and Sheroz. And our special guest for today's podcast is Soma.
I'm your host, Manwar Khan. Today, I'm joined by two young individuals who are ready to share their thoughts and insights on the topic of bullying. They all have the same goal, eliminating bullying in school and communities. These young individuals are passionate about addressing issue of bullying and willing to empower others. Today's participants are Arifa
Hi.
and Shahroz.
Hi.
Thank you, Arifa and Shahroz, for joining us today. Before we continue, I would like to introduce our special guest for today's podcast, Soma.
Hi. Thank you, Manwar.
Soma will shed some light on workplace bullying and help us to understand how we can identify and address bullying in workplace. Thank you, Soma, for joining us today.
Thank you, Manwar.
Now that we have introduced our participants and guests, let's get started with our first round questioning. So my first question for Arifa. So bullying is a serious and global problem that affects children in school and community. Bullying can have many forms, including physical, verbal, emotional, cyberbullying, so many things. So my question for Arifa is, Arifa, can you give us the definition of bullying? And can you talk about different types of bullying and some examples, please?
Yes. First, I'm going to talk about the different types of bullying. First is verbal bullying. Verbal bullying could happen when people are calling a person bad names or anything. Now let's talk about physical bullying. Bullies use physical action to gain power and control over the targets. Bullies try to hurt people by kicking, punching, slapping, and many more. Now I'm going to talk about cyberbullying. Cyberbullying takes place online. It could happen anytime, anywhere, and on any type of platform, such as messaging sites and social media. Now I'm going to talk about social bullying. Now I'm going to talk about social bullying. Social bullying is one of the most common types of bullying. It could happen when people are spreading rumors about people that are not true. This type of bullying is difficult to detect because it could happen behind people's backs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arifa. Great answers. So, Arifa, when we talk about bullying, so in your mind, what it comes up, what is bullying? Is it a bad behavior, mean behavior?
Bullying is making fun of someone. Bullying could be physical and mental bullying. It could be harmful for people because it could
Right.
be very harmful.
I totally agree with you. I also want to add maybe like if I'm going to give you an example. If I am rude to you right now and the program is done, it's gone. So did I bully you? What do you think?
No, you didn't bully me. You were just, I did something wrong for if. I did something wrong. That's called mean. And bullying is something else.
Bullying is something repeatedly doing to hurt someone's feelings and is doing every day by day to hurt that person, right?
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank
Great
you.
answer. Thank you so much, Arifa.
Welcome.
Yes, and I totally agree with you. Bullying can have a profound impact on students and social environments. Students who are bullied by experience may experience many, like Arifa said, physical and emotional harm. So next question is for Sharos. Identifying if someone is being bullied may not be always clear, as bullying can happen in so different forms. Victims may not always disclose openly their experience. So my question for Sharos is, how do you know, Sharos, if someone being bullied? What are the signs that someone may be a victim of bullying? Can you give some example or whatever your thoughts are? Can you unmute that, Sharos?
To know if someone is bullying is like if the person has unexplainable injuries, lost stuff, loss of interest, staying indoors, becoming more unsociable, and anger, increase in anger.
Exactly. So someone was telling me that she found out that her son was being bullied. Was every day her son came from school, she couldn't find the lunchbox. Lunchbox is missing. Some belongings are missing, but the kid didn't tell anything to mom and dad. So that looks like the kid, the child internalized it, didn't share that information. But this is what happened. So if the belongings are missing, you can see cut and bruises. They don't want to go to school, like you said, and ignoring. And also at the same time, it is important. Look at the result. If the results are not up up to expectation and it's going down, then definitely there is a problem. And I think as a parents, it's their job, it's our job to find out why these are things are happening. Maybe it is not bullying, or maybe some other issues. So but these are some signs that I would say a victim of bullying we should watch out for. Anything else do you want to add to this, Arifa?
No, I don't want to add anything else.
All right. Thank you, Sharos. Thank you so
Some
much for your answer. With the first round of questions completed, it's time to move on to the second round. So, second round, I have first question for Arifa. In the context of bullying, there is a term called bystanders. Bystanders can play an important role preventing, stopping bullying. So, my question for you, what is bystanders in a bullying situation? Can you give an example?
Yes, bystanders are people who ignore the situation. For example, a person is getting bullied, and there's a crowd of people surrounding him and the bully, but no one is doing anything. They're just making videos or just standing there and doing absolutely nothing.
Right. So, Arifa, what do you think? I totally agree with you. So, bystanders, you watch, you do nothing. So, how do you think bystanders can be an active? So, I think there are different types of bystanders, right?
Yes,
Like there are passive bystanders, active bystanders. You want to be a bystander where you can go, you watched it and you try to help. And again, you always have to think that before you help, is this a safe for you or not? If this is not safe, you don't go and intervene. But even if you cannot go, you can call mom and dad, you can call your teacher, you can call your counselor, you can call an adult you trust, that okay, somebody is bullying my friend. So basically, doing something for that person instead of saying, this is not my business. Right?
yes.
Great answer. Thank you, Arifa.
Welcome.
Next question for Shahroz. One of the types of bullying is called cyberbullying. Cyberbullying can have a serious negative effects on victim. So, can you give me example of cyberbullying, also with the definition? What do you think about cyberbullying and how it can impact somebody's mental health? Let's start with the first question. What is cyberbullying to you?
Cyberbullying is the use of electronic communication to bully a person by sending negative, harmful, false, or mean content about someone. It can include sharing personal or private information about someone else, causing embarrassment or humiliation. Sometimes cyberbullying can become a criminal behavior. Some examples of cyberbullying are harassing or threatening others, posting private or embarrassing photos online, creating social media accounts that ridicule someone, spreading rumors about someone. I think it can affect people's mental health by causing stress, anxiety, depression, increase in anger, and decrease in self esteem.
Exactly. Great answer. It is important for individual to be aware of the potential harm caused by cyberbullying and to take steps to prevent it. This can include educating young people, and that I'm talking to you guys. At least you guys will never be a victim of cyberbullying, and you guys will never bully someone online. If you are posting, if you are writing something about someone online, instead of talking to that person, that is cyberbullying. And if it is you are doing it in a public post, that is even a cyberbullying, and that is not acceptable. It is a crime everywhere, in Bangladesh and in Canada. Everywhere in the world, it is a crime. You cannot write anybody's talk about anybody else on a social media without their consent. That can harm their reputation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
Welcome.
what basically you guys said summarize is, we need to educate people, and so that we can create a safe and responsible internet use, and we need to promote empathy and kindness. If somebody is saying something, I cannot go and fight back and say something bad. I talk to my adult and tell them and say, okay, this is what I'm do. Okay, maybe I will delete this and I will never go to that site again. Right? But you cannot, you do, I don't want anybody to internalize it, and don't share anyone. Please share it with someone you trust. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else you want to add to this, Arifa?
No.
All right. So with the completion of these first two rounds questioning, before I move on to the final segment, which is our group discussion, I would like to invite our special guest, Soma, to share her thoughts on bullying and some information about workplace bullying.
Yeah. Thank you, Manwar. Thank you for having me here today. Um, Before I start about workplace bullying, I just want to mention that like both of them are Arifa and Sharoz. They have made really good points. Like Arifa mentioned that bullying is harmful for people, and then Sharoz said that bullying can make people sad and angry. I totally agree with you. That's very true. And it's always great to see young people actively thinking and talking about important issues like bullying. So it shows that these kids, they are aware of the issue, and they're like trying to create positive and inclusive environment for everybody. So thank you, Arifa and Sharon. So yeah, workplace bullying. I have been working for some time now. I know a little bit about workplace bullying. Not that I was bullied, but I can of course share some thoughts with you. So workplace bullying is when someone at work repeatedly hurts, threatens, or leaves someone out on purpose. And workplace bullies can be supervisors, can be team members, contractors, like basically anybody in your office, like in the office. And just like other places, workplace bullies can be verbal as well as non-verbal. So just like it is not okay bullying in school, it is also not okay bullying in the office. Why? because it can make you feel really upset, right? Sad and even scared, like to a point where it can be hard for you to do your job properly.
So some behavior. Can you say that again? You said some behavior that can happen in the workplace, and you can tell those are workplace behavior.
Yes. So,
Like,
so first, I think it is very important to understand like what bullying is. What like if you are being bullied, it's very important to understand because knowing what bullying looks like, only then you can prevent it from occurring, right? So some common examples of workplace bullying can be gossiping or spreading rumors about an employee, or purposely ignoring or excluding someone, right? Um, or giving someone overwhelming or impossible deadlines, knowing that they cannot finish their work on time. So that's an
exactly.
example of workplace bullying. Invading someone's privacy, like asking very personal questions, even when you know that that person is not comfortable answering those.
No, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. There are situations like that. Yes, colleagues and supervisor needs to make sure that their coworkers are not feeling comfortable you asking these questions, and they shouldn't be answering those. At the first point, they should not be asking those. So you mentioned that purposefully ignoring, and that I like that point actually. Purposefully ignoring or excluding. Can you give an example of that?
Yeah. So like purposefully ignoring or excluding someone. First of all, these bullies, they can make people feel left out, by refusing, maybe by refusing them, inviting them to office parties, outings, or sometimes even meetings. So I don't have an example of my own, but I can give an example. I know someone, so this happened to her, and so one time she forgot to bring a holiday present for her office receptionist. So ever since, she found herself unprepared for meetings. Then she realized that she was like the office receptionist was sending her meeting invites at the very last moment, to a point where she found herself missing meetings because she couldn't clear her schedule.
Right. And that's pretty common. I have seen it. Colleagues going out for coffee, everyone, and excluding someone they don't like. And at that point, as a coworker, what do you think we can do?
Like, I think that, so the first thing is you have to understand that, okay, is this intentional or it's not intentional? I'm not saying always it's intentional. It can be unintentional. Like they don't mean to bully you. It's just happening. So this is very important to understand. You try to make friends, you try to involve with other colleagues maybe who likes you,
Right.
so that you can work in peace, or wherever you can study in peace, you can be happy over there. Basically involving with other people. If you see somebody is definitely not liking you, maybe you don't go there, go somewhere else, right?
Right. So if it is intentional, then what you do as a coworker, if you are not the victim, your
Yeah.
coworker is a victim, and you see that it is an intentional that person they are doing it, what can you do you think? What is your
I
advice?
think you would actually go and be friends with that coworker and hang out with that coworker.
Excellent. That's
Yeah.
the answer actually I was expecting. Those are the things goes for Arifa and Sharos for you. If you see a victim at school, your friend, somebody is bullying, if you really cannot stop, all you can do, mobilize people and try to be a friend of that person. Maybe bullying might stop. In my previous episode, I mentioned I was never, today I am an activist against bullying. but I was never being a victim of bullying. It's only because most of my friends were bullied, but they were my friends. So if I have seen they were bullying someone, I would just go and become friend to that person. The bullying stop right there, right? So it is a very important point that Soma you mentioned, that becoming their friends, being there for them, telling them that don't, you are not alone, I am there for you, and that matters a lot. Are we all agreeing with this?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much for this answer. We are almost done at the end of our episode. My last question for Arifa and Cheros, you guys can volunteer who wants to go first. So, how can we do as a group or community to prevent bullying? Sure, Arifa.
Teachers um, can edu- teachers can teach students to not become bullies. We don't know when will a person get bullied. No one knows. So, for preventing people getting bullied, teachers should teach us to not bully people. So, if in our class there's a bully and our teacher says that to not bully people, the bully could understand that bullying is bad and he or she could stop bullying. Thank you.
All right, I agree. Cheros.
Yeah. So what we can do as a group to prevent bullying is make rules, identify people who are being bullied and are bullies, and report the bullies.
That's the first thing we should do. Report. Let someone know that they are the bully. Adult or teacher or parents or someone you trust. Let them know that they're bullying. And also tell them that nicely, politely, that what you are doing is not right. That's called bystander. We do not want to be a bystander for this type of situation. You need to
Also,
take a stand. Yes, go ahead.
kids don't usually complain because they think like they will like be adults will think that they are like weak, they cannot handle things. That's like their insecurity makes them to not report bullies.
Exactly. Exactly. And what they do, they internalize. And internalize create other problems. So mental health issues, depression, and all these kind of things. So I totally agree with you guys. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, we have come to the end of this episode. I would like to thank our participants, Arifa and Shahroz, and today's guest, Soma.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Before we wrap up, I would like to remind you, our listeners, that there are several resources available to help individuals dealing with bullying. The government of Alberta has bullying helpline, which is there to support and advise those who experience bullying. And the phone number is 1-888-456-2323. Under no circumstances is bullying acceptable. It has a profound impact on not only the victim but also the entire community. As a community, we have shared responsibility to stand against bullying and refuse to be a bystander. Thank you for joining in conversation with Manwar Khan, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.